Hello students, welcome back. Today again I will continue chapter number 12, aldehyde, ketones and carboxylic acids. Okay, and the topic that we were discussing were chemical reactions of aldehydes and ketones. I told you there are 5 reactions that we will do. We have already done the first reaction, which is nucleophilic addition reaction. In this video, I will be covering second and third reaction, which are reduction and oxidation. Okay, this is our second reaction and this is our third reaction. So let us start with reduction. See, reduction we will study in two parts. Okay, this is the first part of reduction, reduction to alcohols. Okay, aldehydes and ketones are reduced to primary and secondary alcohols respectively by sodium borohydride or lithium aluminium hydride, as well as by catalytic hydrogenation. See, now what we are doing? We are reducing the carbonyl group to alcohols. Okay, and three reagents are mentioned here. First is NaBH4, then next is LiAlH4, and the last thing that is mentioned is catalytic hydrogenation. Catalytic means in the presence of any catalyst, so H2, in the presence of any catalyst which can be palladium or platinum. Okay, and even nickel also. Now see, these three reagents are being used in this reaction. All these reagents will give what? They will convert aldehydes into primary alcohols, okay, and ketones into secondary alcohols. Okay, so if I write here a reaction RCHO, this is an aldehyde, and if we are doing reduction, it means it is addition of hydrogen in the presence of any reagent we can take, and what will happen? It will form RCH2OH. Okay, RCH2OH. Now this is what? 1 degree alcohol. So aldehydes give 1 degree alcohol. Now if I take a ketone, this is an example of ketone, and again the same procedure. What we are doing? We are doing reduction. This is addition of hydrogen in the presence of, you can write any of the reagents given here, 1, 2 and 3, and in this case what we will get? The product in this case, see, it will be CHOH, which is what? 2 degree alcohol. Okay, now see, you should remember that this sodium borohydride is a weak reducing agent and this lithium aluminium hydride is a strong reducing agent. And one more thing, if you remember, I have already told you, this is generally not used because it is expensive. Okay, so these points you should remember. Now let us see the second part of reduction. Okay, this is the second part of reduction. This is reduction to hydrocarbons. Now what we are doing? We are changing the carbonyl group into H2. CO group is changed into H2, which means it is forming what? Hydrocarbons. Now see, the carbonyl group of aldehydes and ketones are reduced to CH2 group on treatment with zinc amalgam and concentrated hydrochloric acid. This is known as Clemmensen reduction. Okay, very important name reaction. So the first name reaction in reduction is this Clemmensen reduction. Now the reagent in this case is what? Zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. This is the reaction for Clemmensen reduction. See here, this is what CO group, and the reagents are ZnHg. In the presence of conc HCl, this will change into CH2 group. Okay, so this you have to remember about Clemmensen reduction. And the next reduction is Wolff-Kishner reduction. See, in this case also, what we are getting? We are getting CO being changed into CH2, but the reagent is different. Okay, so you can use any of the reagents, right? See, in this case, what we will use? With hydrazine followed by heating with sodium or potassium hydroxide in high boiling solvents such as ethylene glycol. So in this case, what we are using? Hydrazine. NH2 is known as hydrazine. We will get an intermediate. Now, if you can identify this intermediate, we have studied about this in our last topic, which was nucleophilic addition reaction. See, here hydrazine. What will be formed? Hydrazone. This is related to our last topic. Okay. So what you will do? C double bond O. This you will remove O, and what you will add? You will add this NNH2 from this side. Okay. This you will remove H2NO in the form of H2O, and you will attach this whole group here, NNH2, and this is known as hydrazone. And then what you will do? See, after this, by heating with sodium, then we will heat with sodium or potassium hydroxide in high boiling solvents such as ethylene glycol, then we will get the hydrocarbon. Again, I am telling you the same thing. You can show both these reactions in one step only. Okay, so these were two important name reaction that you should remember. Okay, in reduction, the first one is Clemmensen reduction, and the second is Wolff-Kishner reduction. In both the cases, what is the main thing that you will remember? For Clemmensen reduction, the reagent is ZnHg, zinc amalgam in the presence of HCl. And here you will remember, first we will take hydrazine, NH2. Okay, and then we will heat with KOH in ethylene glycol. This is CH2OH. CH2OH is known as ethylene glycol, right? So these are the two important name reactions that you should remember. Okay, so this was our first reaction, which was reduction, that we completed in two parts. Now let us move on to our second reaction, which is oxidation. Okay, now see children, this oxidation reaction will be helpful in distinguish questions. See how? Aldehydes differ from ketones. See, here comes the difference. Aldehydes differ from ketones in their oxidation reactions. Aldehydes are easily oxidized to carboxylic acids on treatment with common oxidizing agent, like see, so many oxidizing agents are being mentioned here: nitric acid, potassium permanganate, potassium dichromate, etc. And even mild oxidizing agents like Tollens reagent and Fellings reagent will oxidize aldehydes. See children, as it is written, this is aldehyde RCHO. We will oxidize it into acid. Now we can use any oxidizing agent. Okay, whether we take strong oxidizing agents like KMnO4, okay, K2Cr2O7, or mild oxidizing agent which are Tollens and Fellings reagent, we will get the acid. But ketones are not oxidized. Ketones are generally oxidized under vigorous condition, that is strong oxidizing agents and elevated temperatures. So first of all, let us consider the aldehydes. Now if you see the number of carbon atoms here and the number of carbon atoms here is same. Okay, you need to remember that when aldehydes are oxidized, we get the product which is acid with same number of carbon atoms. Okay, and aldehydes can be oxidized by both strong and weak oxidizing agents, strong as well as weak oxidizing agents. But here comes the difference that ketones are generally oxidized under vigorous condition and using strong oxidizing agent only. Okay. Now see here, their oxidation involves carbon-carbon bond cleavage. Now what is the reason behind this? Vigorous condition is that what it is involving? It is involving breakage of carbon-carbon bond. Okay. And one more difference is here. See, for the mixture of carboxylic acid having lesser number of carbon atoms. Here the carboxylic acids formed will have the lesser number of carbon atoms. Okay. Now see children, one more thing you should remember in ketones is that suppose if I take this ketone and if this R is same on both the sides, so you will see that it is a symmetrical ketone. It is a symmetrical ketone. And what we can do, we can break the bond. See, by cleavage of C1C2 bond, we can break the bond here. Or we can break the bond here. See the second one, C2C3. Okay, so if this R is same, then what we will get? It means if we are talking about symmetrical ketone, then we will get the same product. But if suppose the ketone is unsymmetrical, if the ketone is unsymmetrical, let us take an example for this. Suppose the ketone I am having is this CH3, one second, CH3, CO, CH2, CH2, CH3. Now this is an example of unsymmetrical ketone. Now suppose I am doing oxidation in the presence of conc HNO3. Okay. Now there are two possibilities. Okay. There are two possibilities of bond breakage, which are what? The bond can break from this side and the bond can break from this side as well. Now to understand the position where the bond will break, we need to remember one rule which is known as Popoff's rule. Okay, it is not given in your NCERT, but you should know about this rule, Popoff's rule. According to this rule, Popoff's rule, that in unsymmetrical ketones, keto group stays with smaller alkyl group. Okay, the rule says that in case of unsymmetrical ketones, the keto group stays with smaller alkyl group. Okay, during oxidation. Now see, if you see this now, the compound we were discussing, okay, this can be, and this can be the condition if I take this. Now, which one is smaller alkyl group? This is the smaller alkyl group and this one is the larger. So, the bond will break from here. Okay, the bond will break from here. So, the final products will be CH3, CH3COOH plus CH3 CH2COOH. This keto group will break from here. This we will follow what? Popoff's rule. Okay. So let us move on further. Now see, Mild oxidizing agents given below are used to distinguish between aldehydes and ketones. See, I've already told you in your organic part you will get questions in which different functional groups distinguish will be asked. Now, if you need to distinguish between aldehydes and ketones, you can use any of the tests. 3 tests are there: tolerance test, Felling's test. Now see, tolerance test on warming an aldehyde with freshly prepared ammonical silver nitrate. This is tolerance reagent. Okay. A bright silver mirror is produced due to formation of silver metal. The aldehydes are oxidized to corresponding carboxylate anion. The reaction occurs in alkaline medium. See students, the reaction is given in NCERT as following. RCHO is there. This is our tolerance reagent and this is the alkaline medium. This you will get the salt, and this 2Ag. Here this is the silver mirror. Okay. See, you don't need to remember the reaction. What you can generally write is, you can write this way. Suppose there is a question in which you have to distinguish between aldehyde and ketone. Okay. So what you can simply write that aldehyde, whatever aldehyde is given to you, and tolerance test. You can generally write tolerance test. It will form silver mirror. Silver mirror is formed. This is known as, the precipitate is known as silver mirror because it appears at the side of test tube as a silver mirror. And if there is ketone, and you will write tolerance test, no silver mirror is formed. Okay. So children, at least you should remember this if you are not able to remember the equation. Okay. So one thing more you should remember, that this tolerance test is given by both aliphatic and aromatic aldehydes. Both aliphatic and aromatic aldehydes will give this test. Ketones will not give this test. Okay. Now let us see the next test, which is known as Felling's test. Felling's reagent. Okay. It is a comprises of two solution, Felling solution A and Felling solution B. Now Felling solution A is aqueous copper sulfate. Felling solution B is alkaline sodium potassium tartrate, which is known as Rochelle salt. These two solutions are mixed in equal amounts before test. Okay, we mix them before we are performing the test. On heating an aldehyde with Felling's reagent, a reddish brown precipitate is obtained. Okay, aldehydes are oxidized to corresponding carboxylate anion. Aromatic aldehydes do not respond to this test. Okay, this you need to remember. Aromatic aldehydes do not respond to this test. So again I am saying you, no need to remember the equation. Simply you can write the way I told you. Okay. Suppose again a question is saying to distinguish between a given aldehyde and ketone. But in this case the aldehyde should be aliphatic. Then you can write Felling's test and it will give. In this case you will write reddish brown PPT. And ketone will not give this Felling's test. No need to remember the equation if you are not able to remember. Okay. Now let us see our last topic for today, which is oxidation of methyl ketone by haloform. Now this is again an important reaction. See, aldehydes and ketones having at least one methyl group linked to carbonyl carbon atom, which are known as methyl ketones. See children, this is our carbonyl carbon and what should be there? One methyl group. This is the condition for this haloform test. Are oxidized by sodium hypohalite to sodium salts of corresponding carboxylic acid having one carbon atom less than the carbonyl group. The methyl group is converted into haloform. Okay. The oxidation does not affect the carbon-carbon double bond if present in the molecule. See, I will explain you all the points for this reaction. See children, What is the condition? I told you COCH3 group must be present and the reaction takes place in the presence of sodium hypohalite. Now, how it is formed? It is formed by the reaction of NaOH plus X2. Okay. NaOH plus X2 will give this NaOX. Now this, what is formed? Sodium salt of the corresponding carboxylic acid, and this CH3, see it is written the methyl group is converted into halo form. This is known as halo form. CHX3 is known as halo form. If it is Cl, then it will be CHCl3, which is known as chloroform. If it is Br, it will be bromoform. If it is I, it will be iodoform. So this was the first point of this reaction. See the next point. It is saying it does not affect the double bond. If this is a compound, in this here double bond is present, but if we are doing this haloform test, this double bond will remain as it is. This portion will change. Okay, this CH3 will change into CHCl3, and here what will be formed? ONA, sodium salt will be formed. Okay, see this condition about non-affecting of double bond we studied in what? We studied in PCC and we studied in Dibal H, if you remember. So this is the third case we are discussing in which the double bond remains unaffected, right? Now see children, now this test, particularly iodoform reaction with sodium hypoiodide, is also used for detection of CH3CO group or CH3CHOH group, which produces CH3CO group on oxidation. Now particularly if we use iodine here, what we use? Iodine, we will get CHI3, okay, which gives a very good yellow PPT. So this test is particularly known as iodoform. So all these tests that I have discussed with you will help you in distinguish between various functional groups. Now for this haloform test or iodoform test, why iodoform? Because in case of iodine we get a very good yellow PPT. Now this you should remember children, that this iodoform test is given by which group? Again I am telling you. See the first one. Ethanol is the only 1 degree alcohol among all 1 degree alcohol. Ethanol is the only 1 degree alcohol that will give this iodoform test. Okay, and then methyl alcohols among 2 degree alcohol, methyl alcohols will give this test. Okay, methyl alcohol means RCH3OH will give this test among 2 degree. Okay, and among aldehyde, ethanol. Okay, ethanol among aldehydes is the only aldehyde which will give this kind of test. Okay, this iodoform test, because the condition is CH3CO. Okay, so if any question comes, you need to identify if this group is there, then you can write down the iodoform test. Now suppose I am discussing one question with you. See children, suppose the question is saying to distinguish between ethanol and propane 1-ol. Now if you write down the structure, this is ethanol, CH3, CH2OH is known as ethanol, and this CH3, CH2, CH2OH is known as propane 1-ol. Now if you see, if you remember, if you see that this is alcohol, we can use Lucas test, but in this case, this and this both are what? 1 degree alcohol. So Lucas test can't be used. Now what you can use? You can use iodoform test, and this compound will give yellow PPT. You can simply write this. It will give yellow PPT with iodoform test, and this will not give any yellow PPT. Okay. So I hope all the topics that I discussed today are clear to you. First, I discussed reduction, okay, in which I discussed two name reactions, Clemmensen and Wolff-Kishner reduction, and then I discussed with you oxidation reaction, in which we discussed many tests to distinguish between various functional groups. Okay, thank you for watching the video.